So we're going to talk about dialogue real quick. A couple of you have had issues with formatting. You've had issues with, what is a dialogue tag, how to treat action around dialogue. So we're going to answer all those questions right now. So I have a really riveting scene here. Hint, sarcasm. It's bad. It's deliberately bad. Don't worry. Okay. Hey, Jean, Marie greeted. Hey, Marie, Jean replied. Did you get my call about the gardening club this week? Marie asked, jingling her keys. Nope, Jean replied. I'm busy, though. She looked in her purse for gum. Like I said, not the best scene I've ever written, but that's okay. So, when you have a scene like this, the first thing I want to draw your attention to is formatting. So you have line of dialogue from one character, period, and then you paragraph and tab over. These are all tabbed over. You do that every single time somebody new is speaking, every single time you have a new paragraph. Every single time. A couple of you had issues with tabs. Some of the next paragraph was all the way left justified. That's confusing. These need to be tabbed over. Also, every time a new character speaks, they're in a new line. So Marie speaks, then Jean, then Marie, then Jean. Every time a character is done, you paragraph. So that's how the dialogue should flow. That's the formatting. So again, there should be space here next to the tabs, right? So we have 3 lines of dialogue here with all this space, and then this is the paragraph of the line bleeding over, and then you see the same thing the next way down. So this should be pretty simple. If you have questions on how to do this in your word processor, email me. It's usually something as simple as hitting tab and paragraphing. So this is how it's formatted. Now the next thing I want to draw your attention to is something called a dialogue tag. A dialogue tag is he said, she said. Right? So when a character says a line of dialogue, a quotation, then you have a tag at the end of it. So, hey Jean, Marie greeted. Hey Marie, Jean replied. Marie greeted and Jean replied are what's called dialogue tags, right? So it's very simple. It's character, verb, end of story. Now, when you were in 3rd grade, your teacher told you never to use said, right? Several of you are thinking, yeah, my teacher told me never to use said. Guess what? Your teacher was wrong. Sorry. So here's the thing. When you have verbs like this, greeted, replied, the attention of the sentence goes to the verb, which isn't how it should be. So if you have to use a tag, don't say greeted or replied, just say said. It's very simple. Because then the energy of the scene goes into what's said, not on how they said it. Now if it's important how they said it, then that's an exception to the rule. But about 95% of the time it needs to be a simple dialogue tag. Here's the other thing. Instead of using greeted or replied or asked or exclaimed, statistically, the reader will just read right over it. It's a placeholder for the reader, so that the reader knows who's talking. That's the only purpose it serves. So that's why it takes the energy, because the reader's trying to see this part and see this part at the same time. If you just put said in there, they can just focus on the story. Pretty easy. One more thing on that verb. Previously, Marie had greeted, right? Well, she said hey over here, so it's pointless to say greeted if we can already see hey, right? So that's showing and not telling, right? We're showing at this point, but when we say greeted, that was telling. So I hope that makes sense. Now here's another thing. You don't always need the dialogue tag. So, well, how would it change if we took out Marie said and said, hey Jean, period. Hey Marie, Jean said. So you get an idea of who's talking. Or, even better, take them both out and you're still getting an idea of who's talking. Hey Jean, hey Marie. Right, you get an idea of who's talking. Now I'll even go one step further and say that you don't need either of these. You can say something like, Jean and Marie met at Starbucks. Right? So we know who's talking. We don't need the hi, how are you, small talky kind of conversation. Let's face it, we don't like it in real life. Why would we like it on the page, right? So take it out, and your scene is much better if it's just Jean and Marie met at Starbucks. Simple. It's like a play almost, because we know exactly who is on scene, right? So Jean and Marie met at Starbucks. Did you get my call about the gardening club this week? Marie asked, jingling her keys. Now let's look at this for a second. We have a quotation mark, and we have asked. Do we need asked? We don't need asked. So we're just going to take that out, and then we'll say, Marie jingled her keys, right? Did you get the call about the gardening club this week? Marie jingled her keys. That then serves this line of action serves the purpose of that line of dialogue. We know exactly who said it. Note, Jean replied, I'm busy. She looked at her purse for gum. A lot of you have issues with looked around dialogue. Take it out. This is just filler anyway. So just take that out. Note, Jean replied, I'm busy though. So we know exactly what's going on. We don't need to see that she's fiddling in her purse because it doesn't propel the story forward. Next thing, a couple of you are struggling with punctuation around your line. So you might have, nope, Jean replied, I'm busy though. The sound of the sentence is still the same, but you don't have any punctuation in here. So it all runs together and it's frustrating. So if you have a line of dialogue with the dialogue tag, you add punctuation, and then you end punctuation on that sentence before you move on to the next one, right? If you have a sentence like this one, or it's a full line that does not have a tag, you still end the punctuation. Doesn't have to be a quotation mark, it can be a period or an exclamation if it absolutely has to be, but it shouldn't be an exclamation. End with quotation marks, move on to the next sentence. It's very simple. If you guys have any additional questions on dialogue, be sure to let me know.